The recent actions by the administration, which critics have labeled a retribution or revenge campaign, represent an unprecedented use of presidential power to target perceived political enemies and institutions. This approach is characterized by a high degree of personalism in politics, where the levers of the federal government, particularly the Department of Justice, DOJ, are allegedly employed to pursue investigations and prosecutions against adversaries. Summary and analysis of targets and actions. The campaign encompasses a broad range of targets, extending far beyond traditional political rivals to include institutions fundamental to the U.S. system of governance and civil society. Key targets include political foes and critics, high-profile individuals who have publicly criticized the administration or previously investigated the president have faced criminal charges. Notable examples include former FBI Director James Comey, indicted for allegedly making false statements, and former National Security Advisor John Bolton, charged with mishandling classified information. New York Attorney General Letitia James, who pursued civil litigation against the president, was also indicted on alleged mortgage fraud charges. These prosecutions are viewed by critics as politically motivated retribution. The justice system. The administration has engaged in the unprecedented targeting of law firms and lawyers who represented positions adverse to the president, attempting to terminate their government contracts and suspend security clearances. The administration has also defied judges and courts, with legal experts warning of a potential constitutional crisis and the undermining of the judiciary's role as a check on executive power. Federal agencies and employees. The administration has initiated mass firings of federal employees, inspectors general, and members of independent agencies, replacing them with individuals more aligned with the executive agenda. This is seen as an attempt to remove checks and balances and end the post-Watergate norm of DOJ independence. Civil society and media. The actions extend to a cultural crackdown against various institutions, including threats against higher education over curriculum oversight, targeting activists, and restricting media access to the White House. The administration has also sought to classify certain liberal groups as domestic terrorist organizations. The common thread in these actions is the weaponization of government agencies, including the DOJ, FBI, IRS, and others, for purposes of political reprisal. A move critics argue shatters decades-old norms and is intended to intimidate adversaries and stifle dissent. Reasons and consequences. Reasons for the campaign. The primary drivers of the Retribution campaign appear to be deeply personal and political. Personal retribution. The president's campaign rhetoric was explicitly built on a promise of retribution against those he claims improperly targeted him during his time out of office. This is a direct response to the criminal indictments he faced. Political intimidation. The legal action serves as a warning to critics, potentially chilling opposition by raising the personal and financial cost of speaking out or pursuing legal action against the administration. Control and loyalty. By purging career civil servants and federal prosecutors and installing loyalists, the administration seeks to ensure that the federal machinery acts as a tool of the executive, removing institutional constraints. Consequences for U.S. governance. The consequences of this unprecedented campaign are significant for the stability of American democratic institutions. Erosion of rule of law. The repeated use of the Justice Department for political ends shatters the norm of its independence, potentially creating a two-track legal system where the equal application of the law is compromised. Constitutional crisis. The defiance of court orders and attacks on the judiciary raise fears among legal scholars of a constitutional crisis by challenging the balance of power. Chilling effect. The targeting of law firms, media, and activist groups can deter legitimate legal and political opposition, infringing on core First Amendment rights of speech and association. International norms. The criticism of judges globally who are involved in trials against political allies of the president violates long-standing diplomatic norms and signals a retreat from promoting the independent rule of law in other democracies. Predictions and potential solutions. Predictions. Continued litigation and defense costs. Targets of the investigations, even if ultimately acquitted, will incur massive legal fees, which itself is a form of punishment. Many are expected to form legal defense funds. Judicial scrutiny, cases deemed to be politically motivated, particularly those like the Comey indictment, which legal experts describe as thin, are likely to face strong defense arguments regarding selective or vindictive prosecution in court. Further institutional polarization. The conflict between the executive branch and career staff, as well as the judiciary and the political opposition, is expected to worsen the political polarization in the country. Potential solutions. Addressing the weaponization of justice requires institutional and legislative reforms to reinforce the independence of federal agencies. Legislative safeguards for DOJ independence. Congress could pass laws to strengthen statutory protections for the independence of the Department of Justice, potentially requiring bipartisan agreement for the removal of certain officials or placing stricter limits on presidential involvement in specific criminal investigations. Protecting whistleblowers and career staff. Implementing robust protections for career prosecutors, investigators, and inspectors general who resist political pressure is crucial to maintaining institutional integrity. Judicial and Bar Association resistance. The judiciary must continue to serve as a check, as seen in cases where judges have blocked executive orders against law firms. And bar associations must speak out against attempts to politicize the practice of law. Transparency and oversight. Enhanced congressional oversight and public awareness can serve as a non-legal deterrent. Full disclosure and government-wide reviews of politically motivated misconduct can hold perpetrators accountable.